Yes, graduates, welcome to Hard Talk Podcast with HTK. Fasten your seatbelts. Hey, users and subscribers, wagwan, and big up to all of the new subscribers to my channel. I see you, enough respect for the support. Listen, there's not a day that goes past that I do not think about Adriana Younge and the situation that's surrounding the investigation of her death. And I was appalled to come across these recent videos that shows that the owner of the Doubleday Hotel is busy going through the public searching for cheers. Yes, people. The man a chuck badness, the man a try find back him cheer them in an attempt to rebuild his hotel. Okay, we know that business must go on, but I'm sorry. Is it going to go on in the same precedent that you set, where you have a space that is so unsafe that a child's life can just be snuffed out and there is no kind of accountability? I want you to take a look at these videos first, and then we're going to go into the things that were said by Adriana Younge's aunt, because I think that video needs to be analyzed properly.
This week here, what I got in there?
You sir, you kill that girl. You're a wicked bitch. But before you you're walking free. You walking free. You wicked bitch. You want pretty good. Come with me, pretty good. Come out to me, big job. You sir, you kill.
So this is the kind of immoral disregard that these people are having for the passing of this child, that cheers are more significant. You can put your effort and your back into going to find your chairs, but you cannot come up with a reasonable explanation as to how a child's life was taken on your premises. So it's back to business as usual for them. But this family continues to face a situation of no conclusion. We listened carefully to the doctor's comments. We listened to her response on the second autopsy. And while Dr. Terry is making it clear that indeed the first autopsy was done competently, she still cannot arrive at the firm conclusion that the child had drowned. And certainly she has not confirmed that she has drowned in the pool. That without the exclusion of any other causes of death, she still cannot stand by that conviction that the child drowned, and that a criminal investigation needs to take precedence. Now, I listened to this news report that came out a day ago, and I said to myself, this sounds like a tidying up and a dismissal. Remember, I warned against this in the first video that I did with regards to the second autopsy. And I said that everything is sounding like it's about to go around in a circle, and that the government had already started to cover the tracks with this police report to make it look like they have already done due diligence and done everything that was necessary to show that there was nothing in the toxicology report, etc. Now listen to this clip.
On April 28, 2025, I was among hundreds of persons at the Georgetown Public Hospital where Adriana's body was examined by a team of 3 seasoned forensic pathologists, Dr. Carol Paul, Dr. Glenn Rudner, and Dr. Gary Collins. Their findings were clear and scientific. Her lungs were swollen and filled with fluid, a textbook sign of drowning. Foam in her airways indicated she was alive when submerged. There were no signs of trauma. No bruises, no cuts, no defensive wounds.
Now let me stop this right here. This reporter is saying there were no signs of trauma, no bruises, no cuts, no defensive wounds. But then how do you explain these images here? And I'm sorry, I'm going to give a warning that they may be traumatic and triggering, but we do have to present this evidence alongside these findings just to make sense of it. So bear with me a moment. Take a look at these. So you're trying to tell me that these particular images that I've just shown you are just as a result of being in a pool overnight? Because remember, this is the spiel that they're wanting the public to consume and accept. And it makes no sense because we already are aware of the fact that they have been searching that pool and there was no sign of a body. But now the body miraculously appeared the following morning. Now, who is going to believe that this that we are looking at is as a result of overexposure to water? Why does this not affect all of the body? And even so, how is it so distinctly in particular places like the knees? What are these marks on her forearm? And as for the substance in the nostrils, there has been a lot of debate about whether or not this was cotton wool or if this was foam. Now, listen to this further clip before we go back to the other report that explains exactly what it is that they are giving as a rationale for the appearance of the child.
The final autopsy report has confirmed that 11-year-old Adriana Younge died from accidental drowning, ruling out any signs of foul play. The report, signed by a team of 3 pathologists, Dr. Shavukar Kara Paul, Dr. Glenn Rudner, and Dr. Gary Collins, was completed on April 28 at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Their findings were supported by postmortem imaging, photos, and video documentation. According to the pathologist, Adriana drowned in the pool, sank to the bottom, and floated to the surface the next morning due to early decomposition. There was no evidence that she was harmed or removed from the pool and then returned. An external examination showed no injuries on Adriana's body, only signs typical of prolonged time in water. Her clothing was intact and properly in place. The only notable mark was a brown imprint on her right forearm, matching a VIP wristband caused by pressure and water exposure. Her palms and soles were wrinkled, a condition known as a washerwoman hands, confirming she had been submerged for some time. The report emphasized that there was no signs of a struggle. Adriana's head, face, and skull showed no injuries or fractures. A CT scan and X-rays confirmed no bruises, bleeding, or impact. The only notable sign was frothy white mucus at her nostrils, a common indicator of drowning. Toxicology tests found no drugs in Adriana's system. A small amount of ethanol was detected but was attributed to natural changes after death. DNA tests also found no foreign DNA and no signs of sexual assault. The Ghana Police Force has confirmed these findings and officially ruled the case an accidental drowning. This conclusion is also supported by an independent review from retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigator Leonard McCushion, who found no wrongdoing. Adriana was last seen alive by her grandmother around 1 p.m. on April 23rd, swimming in the pool at the Doubleday International Hotel at Tushin, East Bank, Essequibo. Her body was discovered floating in the same pool the next morning. The report also explained that Adriana likely floated due to natural decomposition in a tropical environment. Police have said the case file is being finalized for submission to the Director of Public Prosecutions for review.
So, in one sweeping move, this report has plugged all of the time gap between when that child was missing and when the child reappeared. There is no reference to the fact that there was a search. There's no reference to the fact that she was missing for several hours. There is nothing. It's like she went to the pool and she drowned. And then they have redirected energies towards the grandmother. You see, this is why I'm hesitant to actually go along those lines of trying to point a finger of blame at the grandmother. And yes, we do know that the last persons to have seen her do also need to be questioned and interrogated. And there has been some controversy in that arena as well. But what I do not like is this whole agenda of trying to make it look like the grandmother was negligent, because this is exactly what is implied here, that it is the negligence of the grandmother that led to this child's drowning. So how is it that the government is able to plug all the gaps of the time that passed between when that child was last seen and when that child reappeared is beyond me. This news reporter has very detailed information that not even Dr. Terry herself was privy to, which shows me once again that the information is being controlled and divvied out to press for specific reasons, and that is to create a narrative. Why weren't all these details sent across to Dr. Terry for comparison in the second autopsy is still the main question. Why was the toxicology report delayed in getting to this lady? Has it even gotten there yet? Now, as we listen to the next clip, I want you to pay attention to what they are saying with regards to the markings on the child's body.
Toxicology tests were clean, no drugs, only minimal ethanol, which is a natural byproduct of decomposition. DNA testing showed no foreign material, ruling out sexual assault or struggle. A patterned mark on her arm matched the VIP wristband she had been wearing, likely imprinted after prolonged submersion, suggesting she remained in the water.
Do you notice they're focusing on the fact that there was the wristband on the child's hand? Yes, we're aware of that. But there is no reference to the very distinct markings on the knees and on the forearms and on the forehead. Nobody seems to give any kind of rationale to that other than the fact that it's overexposure to water. But how is it so patterned? This is the part that I find very strange. They made reference to the fact that DNA testing took place, which showed no foreign material and rules out SA or struggle. So if this is what we're assuming, I would imagine they would have gone under the fingernails to see if there was any resistance, etc. The key to this, my people, is the toxicology report. What was in her blood? What did the toxicology report actually test for? What is present? They're speaking about the fact that they only saw the chemical that is indicative of decay. But I am not convinced that the marks that we're seeing on the child's arm has anything to do with the wristband. Look at the picture. The wristband is there intact and there is nothing that is explaining the elongated markings on her arms.
That was Dr. Carol Terry, Chief Medical Examiner of Gwinnett County. Her role, a form of quality control, to verify the first autopsy's conclusions. Dr. Terry made an important point up front. The best opportunity to determine cause of death is during the first autopsy, before embalming, before significant decomposition.
Do you notice how in this report they completely exclude where Dr. Carol Terry said that she cannot say that Adriana died by drowning? Do you notice that they skipped that part out and only highlighted the bits that coincided with the first autopsy to reinforce that they were right with their findings? The woman has insisted on a criminal investigation, that needs to take place in order to find out exactly what it is that caused this child's death. She insisted that the determination of drowning cannot be made unless everything else is excluded from the equation. None of this is present in this newsroom report. None of it. It's only focusing on highlighting the similarities, but not highlighting the differences. They also then concluded that the only significant thing was the fact that she needed to see the toxicology report. Why not make it clear that the doctor has said a further investigation of a criminal nature needs to take place. Now, if this isn't a blatant cover up, I don't know what is. But this is exactly what it is, because a transparent report on what took place with that second autopsy would have included all of the findings of the doctor, all of the conclusions of the doctor, and not part that just justifies the first autopsy.
Nonetheless, she proceeded with her examination. Her verdict: the first autopsy was competently and thoroughly conducted. She agreed with the initial findings: no trauma, no signs of struggle. But there is a key nuance. While acknowledging that drowning was a reasonable conclusion, Dr. Terry said she was reluctant to rule it definitively, not because of conflicting evidence, but because of limitations introduced by embalming and because she had not received full toxicology results herself.
Oh boy, may I have to kiss my teeth. At this point, I just plugged out because, yeah, it became very obvious to me that this was a cover up. So when I listened to Adriana's aunt, I listened very carefully to the things that she was saying, and I wanted to pick out certain things that was presented in her interview. Take a listen to this.
Has had many questions that are not answered. They have been left unanswered. And some of those questions includes time of death, includes whether the liquid, the fluids in her nostrils actually came from the pool, because as we all saw, that pool was drained before water came out, before a sample actually was able to come from it. And so we have questions. We also have questions concerning the marks on her body, identical marks on her arms, identical marks on her knees, the mark on her forehead. So we have so many questions that have not been answered, and so we just cannot accept what the police have said there.
The initial autopsy said she drowned. Are you, the family, of this belief anywhere in your heart?
All right, so we as a family, we're saying that, all right, maybe she did drown, but we think that she was forcefully drowned. We know that she was definitely not drowned in that pool. And we were there. We saw, I touched her body. Her body was not bloated. Her body was firm and cold. All right. So we know what we saw. So her nostrils, both nostrils had cotton wool inside. That's what I saw. I examined. So we're not refuting that she drowned, but we're saying that she definitely did not drown in that pool. All right, so that's our position.
So you heard for yourself, the aunt has said that she investigated the body. She saw the cotton wool in the nostrils. It wasn't foam, according to her. This is an intelligent woman. She's clearly a teacher as well. You're trying to tell me that an educated woman of her standard of knowledge and awareness cannot tell the difference between froth and cotton? So froth, it hardens in substance over time. What is happening? Why are we getting mixed findings about what was in the child's nostrils? There's something about this that's just not sitting well with myself, and no doubt the public of Guyana as well, because I do not see this woman as delusional or undereducated, underexposed, incapable of thinking rationally. She sounds like the key matriarch in their family. And just her closeness to the child, if you listen to the full interview, it even had an impact on her spiritually, meaning that she had a chronic headache during the time when things were going wrong with her niece. So there is no way this woman would miss details, and the trauma of it would etch those memories in her mind quite significantly, especially due to the connection she has with the child. She speaks specifically of the same markings that were symmetrical on both arms. So you're trying to tell me that exposure to water, the pool water, would have given this child identical markings on both her limbs? Nothing particularly different about them? Something is just not making sense in terms of the presentation of the child's corpse and no explanation. And obviously, because in the second autopsy, as you heard, we're dealing with embalming, prolonged decomposition. There is no way that the second autopsy would have gotten the prime opportunity to really investigate all of these things as the first autopsy would. The government is reliant on these gaps of knowledge. They're reliant on these missing moments between the two autopsies to dismiss the second one. They've already started to spin the narrative that, look, all this doctor is doing is agreeing that what we did was the right one, the right way, and the right findings. They have tried to curtail the demand for actually investigating this criminally. Let's continue to listen.
Because while I was there, we had a very small crowd initially, family members, neighbors, and so on, who came out. And while I was there, son was just on his phone. Then you saw one police come up and talk with him. And then, nobody came to us to say, all right, what can we do to help? We asked repeatedly for the pool to be emptied, for us to search, and everything all of our requests fell on deaf ears. We saw the police protect, guard, defend, and they're even defending now the owners, all right, or the owner of that hotel. So I also would like to address what our president, Mr. Ali, has said. And Mr. Ali promised us, he promised the father of Adriana, Sir Brian Younge, he promised him that he will leave no stone unturned, that he will provide all of the resources that are needed for an independent investigation. Sad to say, that has not been materialized up to now. We have asked, Sir Brian has asked, Amicia has asked, the family has asked for the FBI to come in. The embassy, the U.S. Embassy, is waiting on the government of Guyana to ask. They're willing, but they're waiting on Mr. Ali to ask, on this government to ask. And that request, for some reason, odd reason, has not been made. So our family, we are hurting on every possible level that you can think of. We don't have the police by our sides. We don't have the government helping us. All right? We have what we do have done, what we're thankful for, and I would like to inject this here, is that we're really thankful for all of the supporters that have stood and that are standing behind us. Those persons who have never met us are now hearing about us for the first time all over the world. Those are the people that we are extremely, extremely grateful for.
So people, you heard that for yourself. The aunt has made it clear that there has been no significant moves by key members of government in Guyana. The Prime Minister has not given the word. There has been no movement to get the FBI in, despite offering any help that is possible. I see another fight coming for this family to get justice done. I see another fight coming because it is clear that they are working against the powers that be. And the only impact that can be had is if the public continues to make noise and to demand that something is done, and that the family of Adriana Younge does not give up on getting that advocacy and that objectivity that they need in order to close this case and for that child to rest in peace. This is your girl, Head Teacher K.